The pleasures of owning a vintage VW bug. It happens. So last week I did a video on owning a VW. This week I'm gonna have to do a video on replacing an alternator or generator. That light that you saw there is the, in this case, alternator light. And the reason that's happening is because there's something wrong with an alternator that's less than a year old. Now, why it's happening, no clue. Maybe something internally wrong with the alternator. That happens. It's, you know, the way it works. What I would say is that I kind of did this, you know, to myself. The reason why is because this car, I swapped the engine, like I mentioned earlier in the, well, not earlier, but in the previous video. And I swapped the alternator, which was fine. Although it was probably some kind of Chinese alternator, chrome, I didn't want that. So I swapped it for pure energy. And as I mentioned prior, when you use cheap stuff, you get bad results. The alternator that I purchased was supposedly a Bosch rebuilt. I got it on a popular car parts website, so I'm not gonna say it doesn't really matter. But anyways, it was $55. Although it might have been a Bosch originally, and it was, you know, whatever. I wasn't, you know, I got, I guess, a bad one. So now, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go again and pull the old, or not the old, but the bad alternator out. Luckily, I'm gonna get a replacement from them, or I don't know if I don't know if they provide you a refund. I don't know. I'm not sure, but at least I'll get a replacement, which I can use as a spare in case there's an emergency where I need to swap the new alternator. Which in this case, I did buy a new NOS, I suppose, Bosch, which is made in Mexico. So NOS meaning that it was probably from, you know, I don't know, maybe 90s or early 2000s, something like that. This is a new alternator that I got. Looks good. That's the old alternator that, not that it was bad, that's the one that was chrome. I painted it with silver, you know, kind of like a silver paint to get rid of the chrome, but it, you know, it just keeps getting all scratched up and it looked like crap. So I mean, I wanted to swap it anyways. The engine looks pretty clean. I don't want that in there. But that ugly or dirty alternator was working fine. So that's another spare. I mean, I would hate to put that in this car just because of the way it looks. It just looks too nasty. To paint over chrome is almost impossible. I mean, I scuffed it up and whatever. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's primers out there that will work. I'm not sure, but I wanted something that looked more OEM factory, just clean. I didn't want the chrome. So now I'm gonna have to find a way to remove this alternator without taking everything apart. Last time it was easier because the engine was out. Now I'm gonna have to do certain things to make it happen. I don't want to remove the deck lid either, which makes it a little bit easier, but I don't know, I don't want to remove the deck lid. It's more work. It's kind of aligned fine as it is. I don't want to mess it up. I tried going through the back to remove the 36mm bolt that's in there pretty tightly. I used the impact wrench last time, so that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna have to remove the, first of all, I'm gonna remove obviously the belt, pulley, carburetor, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna loosen up the two screws that hold the fan shroud, so I can lift it up and get access to the two bolts that are at the bottom of that plate, the backing plate, fan, I don't know what you call that exactly, but that plate there, which, you know, obviously these two are, well, this is accessible, the other one is accessible from behind the carburetor, but then it gets tricky to get to the bottom ones, and that's where you have to lift it without removing the manifold, which I don't want to do because then you get the leaks and whatnot, and I had issues with that before. Oh, and I have to remove the alternator stand as well, which once I pull it out, it's going to pull out the oil, the breather tube and whatnot. You have to pull that whole thing out. So that's, the filler with a breather tube. So that's pretty much all I have to do. It's going to take probably a good few hours, maybe 2-3 hours, I'm not sure. I'm going to try to be as careful as possible. But I'll show you guys how how it goes and how I'm attempting to do it, to see that, that if it's a good way or not. I see some other videos on YouTube, people doing it that way. So let's see if it goes as smoothly as it looks to go for them. And in this case for me, let's see what happens. I removed the carburetor. The whole thing followed me the entire way, including the fuel hose. It's insane. So what happened was that the nut on the very tight spot behind the manifold mouth there, as it is, it's pretty uncomfortable to get behind there, and that spot there is notorious for getting a vacuum leak. And when I added the Permatex around the mouth of the manifold there, some of it fell and got all over the nut, and it was causing it to stick. So I couldn't just loosen it a little bit like I usually do and then just take it off with my hand, because it was sticky and it just wouldn't come out. As simple as that. So I mean, no big deal. It's just more work. That's all that is. Show you guys, but including the hose for the fuel, out, even that was painful. This came off and this came loose. I gotta put other zip tie there. So that's the first step. Obviously disconnect the battery to make sure you don't have, you're dealing with the carburetor, which has fuel. You don't want fuel to fall on top of the ignition or something to happen, cause spark, and then have an engine fire or something like that. So just be cautious. I loosened the strap. I can't really get it out. It doesn't really make a difference, because once I remove these bolts, I can lift, oh I'm sorry, once I remove the side screws from the fan housing, I can lift it enough where I can pull the strap from underneath, so that's not an issue. The more complicated thing is to get those two screws out, just because it's kind of tight. I mean, I have access to them, shouldn't be too awful, but everything, this car will fight everything that I'm trying to do, so it's just the way it works. So I just have to find the right tool to get just behind all the you know, the manifold and, you know, the intake, you know, just the wiring in general, you know, spark plugs, wires and all that stuff is just kind of a little bit of a mess back there, but I'll find something that works. Probably just a wrench is fine. For these back here behind the fan shroud, there shouldn't be a need to take the whole screw out. You should be able to just move it back enough to be able to pull the fan shroud. This drives me insane. So I thought I would have to remove the alternator stand, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think I need to remove it. Let's see, I don't know yet. I can gain access to the bolts here, and I have extra clearance by just pulling the whole thing up. Of course, everything's very tight and it's not comfortable, but I don't think I need to remove the stand, which will make things a lot better. The less you have to take out, the better it is. The alternator stand also has a gasket that I couldn't find one. I was going to make one, so I mean I could always make a gasket. Shouldn't be a big deal, but if I can somehow pull the alternator without removing the stand, then I'm going to be in a lot better shape. Well, came out. So since the fan shroud is loose, you can move the fan shroud up and down, back and forth, and clear the alternator fan. So you just have to maneuver it and wiggle it and move it around. It's tight, then sometimes you have to be a little bit forceful, not overly where you're gonna break anything or bend anything, just enough so that you can get it out from wherever it's stuck, if there's like a little bit of a snag somewhere. But you can do it. Actually, no need to remove the alternator stand. In fact, I mean, there's no, it's better if you don't. The only time you have to, at that point, let's say you're changing from generator to alternator, then you need this type to accommodate for the larger housing of the alternator. I think that's the only reason why you would have to remove that. But in my case, I was lucky where I didn't have to deal with that. Let's see how easy, or rather how difficult it's going to be to put it all back together. I'm not trying to be negative, but like I said, this car fights me on everything. It's insane. It's like doesn't want to get well. So I'm gonna put these back, and I'll bring her back in. So I'm gonna be moving this whole assembly, fan, everything else to the new alternator. I'm gonna record that as well so you guys can see that. I mean, I think that's something that's pretty straightforward. Just put everything back in the same order. I wouldn't be surprised if this fights me too, but let's try to see what happens. This has a little keyway. Sometimes these get stuck as well. Has to, like, little by little start to get it loose, and really the only way around it. Other than that, it's just, it's just work. But the only thing you have to do is just pull that out of there. So hopefully not messing up this vacuum plate. There you go. See, this was a little bit tight. Now it came out. Now we're good. The new alternator that I got didn't have these little keys, so I'm gonna have to transfer these on the front and the back, or vice versa, whatever you want to call it, to the new alternator. To do that, and probably have to buy whole hub kit for that washer, just because I don't have that stupid spring washer that broke, and I want this repaired for the week. Like I said, I use the car often, almost every day, so I can buy it on Amazon and get that here by tomorrow morning before 11 a.m. which would allow me to finish this up today. I'm not sorry, tomorrow. Get the roof key out. To just tap it lightly, so it will shift. You could just grab it probably with let's see if it works now. I can get it out. Almost. Tap it a little bit more. Transfer this to the new alternator. Alright, for the time being, while I figure out what I'm gonna do about the broken washer, I'm just gonna swap the rest of the parts that I need to swap from one alternator to the other. And that's pretty much all I can do for now. Hopefully, I did find one hub kit, the whole thing, Amazon, which could be delivered tomorrow. But
They want $29, which is stupid. It's insane. But I might have to just go that route if I don't want to wait till the weekend. Let's see. There's a local Facebook group that has a bunch of people that work on these cars, and hopefully one of them might have one of these just laying around that they want to sell me. That would be the best option, the best outcome. But let's see what happens. I don't know if I want to spend $29 or not. On a hub. When it comes to these things, all you have to do is put everything back the same way it was on the old part, so it's fairly straightforward. That's that Woodruff key that I need. I can tap it out of there. A little bit tight. Usually you buy the alternator, it will have that. You don't have to worry about that. In my case, I bought, I guess, an NOS off eBay, and I saw there were only two, and both of them had the same situation. They were missing, I saw they were missing some of the little parts here and there, you know, like the Woodruff key, which I very well have. Two alternators that had them, so I wouldn't be in bad shape just removing them. And, you know, just missing the bolt for the rear, not sorry, for the front on one of them, and you know, just little things here and there, but again, nothing crazy. There we go. Just kind of lift it up. There we go. See if it's still stuck. Yeah. It's almost out. Just tapping it gently. See if I can hit it from this side. There you go. Pain in the ass. Oops. Didn't have these bolts either. I mean, I had them available, so that's a Bosch sticker inside, made in Mexico. You can see that. This goes in here. So there's more hammer that I brought. Straighten that out a little bit. So this goes like so. Essentially, this goes towards the bottom. This little hole here, I'll show you in a second. Goes towards the bottom. We got the spacer. We got these little spring washers. $10mm nuts. And that's it. You know what? Put a little bit of Loctite there because I had already a situation where one of these, well actually both, on the old alternator they fell off somehow. I never had really messed with it, but they did fall out, and they were spitted by the fan. So let me get that done. Yeah, somehow they were spitted by the fan, and ended up right there. I'll show you in a second. Anyways, they were spitted by the fan, and I found them in there, just inside there, just and in there. It's really odd, but that's what happened. I'm trying to figure out where those nuts came from. They were just loose in there, and they just were spit it out, fell in there. So I was about to remove the engine anyways, and when I did, I took care of that. I just put the bolt that you saw there, since I had lost the I guess lugs you call it. I just put regular bolts, and that was fine. That resolved the issue. Alright, so let's get this fan on here. So remember, breather hole goes to the bottom. I already put that key there for the hub. Almost tempted to buy the whole thing and not use this old one. It's a little chewed up. It's not that bad, I guess, but I don't know. If I'm buying the kit, which includes this, why use that old one? I don't know. Depends if these people from, at least if the folks from the VW Facebook page come through and they have one that they can, the spring washer that they can spare, then I'm gonna be fine where I don't have to spend $25, whatever it is, on this whole thing. If not, I'll just fall off. I'll just buy the whole thing. Let's see what happens. It just kind of sucks that he's spend money for a broken part like that. It's really stupid. It's like a waste. Sometimes it could be tricky to get these keys. They have their half moon shape and they just rock out of place. So anyways, let me just get that in there. It shouldn't be too complicated. There you go. It's in there. I can't put the fan on. I don't have the needed parts. Well, I can't complete the whole installation. I just want to check that it's moving or turning without any issues. looks good. Might need it. Let's see here. Not sure if we need a spacer or not. There's some rubbing. Be fine. I did have one in there prior, so I might need it. Anyways, like I said, I might just order the whole thing. I don't want to just, you know, use the old one if I'm going to order the whole kit. So, let's see. All right, it's been a full week, and only now, this is Saturday, so from last Saturday, only now I was able to get this spring washer for the fan, and I got it at a local store here. It's used. They just gave it to me. Tried to give them some cash, they said no, but anyways, they're awesome people. I ordered some on eBay and they got lost or something. Well, not lost, I mean they'll be here, but not when they said they were going to be here, which is supposed to be yesterday. So I need to drive the car this week, so I just got this now, and that way I can just finish this video. If not, I would have to wait till next Saturday. But this is what I was missing. There you go. So yeah, you just wiggle and move it around until you get it on there. And that's pretty much all you could do. It's not rocket science. It's just a matter of finding a way to align it properly and get the fan in there. Also, once you got all the screws and all that all there tight, you got to make sure that the fan is not rubbing. Once you put the strap on and all that, there's no rubbing. You don't want to hear any noise. I'm just checking. I keep checking just in case, but it looks to be fine. To get this last screw, this one here, on there was a pain. I'm not gonna lie. Now, because I can't fit my hand in there, so I use these. Then I put the screw in the hole. Then I held the screw like that, and then I moved it a little bit, tightened it a little bit. And then finally I grabbed the wrench and got it in. It took me a while because it's very tight. So I'm not going to say it's all easy here. You don't have to figure out if you have a better tool that works. I don't know. I don't know what kind of tool, but it just, you know, it's hard to fit, you know, to fit a ratchet in there, let alone with a socket. You have to use a wrench. But you have to hold the screw in. So the screw that I had a washer that was like a permanent washer. It doesn't come out. So with the washer, I was holding it with a screwdriver, and then I started turning it. But it's painful. I don't know. It's painful, to be honest with you. It took me a little while to figure out how to finally get that on there. somebody asked me, I think I mentioned this already, these are not doing anything there, they're for show. I just wanted to have the more traditional look, but of course it's not the original engine, nothing like that. But I just wanted to have that there so it looks like it was complete, but it's not, it's just fake. It has J2 on there. So anyways, we're all done. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm going to be putting more videos. Some are going to be VW stuff. Some might be just guitar stuff, depending on what's going on. Let me check, make sure that when I put, one thing I have to say, I got to make sure that there's no vacuum leak there. I'll spray a little bit of park cleaner to make sure, because that's always an issue, especially with these aftermarket manifolds. I did put some of the aviator sealer, Permatex, with the gasket that was on there, which was still in good shape. I do have an extra gasket there, you can see a little more, but it should be fine. I'm going to check just to be sure. But anyways, again, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you.